Well, that'll teach me not to judge a book by its cover. I set aside 3 series that had a somewhat edgy air to them, just going off the name alone. I chose not to do any research on them and go as blind as possible and assume I would walk away comfortably with enough content for a quality review at least. Now here I sit, with enough pie on my face to feed the entire family. But who are the 3 boring smucks I lined up today? They're Deep Insanity, The Lost Child, which I shouldn't need to explain why it made the list. Plus, if it came out boring, I had at least the easy joke of Deep Insanity. I sure did feel like I was going deeply insane watching it. Followed by a smug laugh. Visual Prison, yes, I sure did feel like I was in prison. Smug laugh. Fits that bill as well. Also being offhandedly the only series between The Honor and Magic High and Higurashi When They Cry. The 2 series I decided I wasn't going to watch till I could pass a lore check on those series, on my list of Funimation series. Also, a quick answer, I sort by year and then by name. So that's the reason why these 3 lined up. So knocking it out felt like good filing work at least. And lastly, there's Scar on the Prey tier, which fit the bill with the whole, with the whole Scar in his name, I guess. Plus, it was fully dubbed, so I could throw it on while completing each 1 and each 3. But that's enough stalling for time, let's run them down. Deep Insanity, The Lost Child is a multimedia project using the anime to bridge the story between the manga Deep Insanity Nirvana and the tie-in game Deep Insanity Asylum, as well as really hope you never read All You Need Is Kill or seen Edge of Tomorrow, which you should, by the way, as I'm personally a big fan of the manga adaptation of this story. It holds up as one of my favorite short-form manga series, as it's only 2 volumes, as well as beginning the nod as being one of the best stories that use a time loop as a mechanic. Which is why I bring it up, as Deep Insanity's big twist is that the commander that our protagonist works under is stuck in a time loop, trying to stop an evil dude from turning into a god and ending the world for reasons, I guess. Not that it's obvious, as Shigure, who wants to be a hero, joins a team that explore a hole that shows up in Antarctica, that promises to hold a cure to the pandemic that is happening off screen, but totally is happening, I swear. We get to know his squad mates who are rather forgettable besides Leslie, their squad leader, who does actually use they/them pronouns and are actually a very solid non-binary character. So that's at least one good doodle star for your Deep Insanity. But then they get killed off, leaving a giant charisma vacuum, but the main character gets tasked with assassinating the titular Lost Child so the evil dude can't use her power to become a god. But then that fails and he gets pulled into the time loop as well, stopping evil with the power of friendship, glossing over the fact that the Lost Child is the younger version of the commander and the time shenanigans that creates. And he does a noble sacrifice and then teaches that he's still alive. The characters are weak, the villains are even weaker, the world building is hot and cold with key information on how the commander got this power in the first place, never really revealed. If you just want mindless action, there are a dime a dozen, and most have at least something going for them, so why would you ever want to watch Deep Insanity outside of just being a die-hard Deep Insanity fan? For Visual Prison, I found out it was actually about vampires, adding another title to the vampire boom of 2021. Also, it is done by our friends over at A1 Pictures, which is the closest thing I have to a running gag, so in the spirit of Circa 2000 video game reviewer, let's continue to play it up. So get that Freshie 44 lore check ready! As we ask the question, hey Olmec, what crazy idea did you come up with this year? Vampire J-Rock competition! Oh, so it's just a bunch of pretty anime vampire boys doing some music with some vague humorog undertones that comes with the territory. Which you are absolutely not hiding, by the way. Adding the fact that vampires can only create other vampires with human males. Yeah, that's not subtle in the slightest. And has some troubling implications when you think about the actual, kid vampires, that got turned to vampires when they were kids. But I'm not the target audience for this one. None of the vampires are doing much for me in the look department besides maybe Eve, but I wouldn't stand them. Also, I can't say I'm the biggest J-Rock fan, but if you are into either, maybe there's something for you here, but otherwise, probably safe to skip. Alright, last up, Scar on the Prey tier. What do you got for us? Mindless action between different pretty boy factions over the slums of a city, where the action looks alright, but the art style clashes with the backgrounds because they're using 2 different styles, meaning it takes at least an episode or 2 to get used to it, and that's if you're just watching it in one sitting. Also, half your dialogue is just them saying useless lines like, take this, now you've done it, and try harder. Like they gather scripts from a Kingdom Hearts boss fight. But hey, at least you have 4 pairings of boys that you can smash against each other and just scream, just kiss already. So there's an end for someone, I guess, but otherwise, as I previously stated, mindless action.